As every book defines it, a set is a collection of well-defined objects. Here, by well-defined, we simply mean that it should be absolutely clear that which object belongs to which set and which does not. For example, if we talk about our planet Earth, it is a well-defined collection of many objects, like there are humans, plants, animals, etc. These basic constituents of any set are called elements or members of a set. Now, it is interesting to note that each of humans, plants and animals are also individual set, as they are also a collection of well-defined objects. For example, there are different groups of animals based on their eating choices. There are herbivores, there are carnivores and there are omnivores. For this reason, they are called subset of the main set. That is, humans, plants and animals are all subset of the main set Earth. Now suppose I consider humans and plants as a single set altogether and name it as B, and we call the main set as A. So we can say that B is a subset of A. These types of subset that does not include all the members of the set to which they belong are called as proper subset. The condition for a subset to be a proper subset is that there should be at least one element which should be available in the main set but not in the subset. On the other hand, if any subset which contains exactly the same element as the main set, then it is not the proper subset. For example, in the second case, B contains exactly the same elements as of A, and hence B is not a proper subset of A. Let's look at some of the key observations regarding sets. The empty set is a subset of every set. This is true for all the scenarios except when we are talking about two empty sets. Empty set is a set which contains no elements. It is generally denoted by the symbol phi. Next, every set is a subset of itself. I hope this is pretty obvious to understand. Moving ahead, a formula which may come in handy in some of the exams. Number of all possible subsets of a set containing n elements is 2 to the power n. This is exactly same as the concept that we covered in PNC. Number of ways in which we can choose none, one or more from n different items. For each of the n items, we will have two choices. Either pick them or leave them. Like this, in total for n items, we will have n 2's multiplied to give 2 raised to the power n ways. Amongst these 2 raised to n ways, there will be one in which no element is chosen. First element is left, second element is left, and similarly all others are left as well. That case will represent null set or empty set. Next, we have number of all possible proper subsets. It will be total number of possible sets minus 1, that is 2 to the power n minus 1. The only set which contains exactly same elements as the main set is excluded. I hope these basics of set theory are somewhat clear to you. Let's move to understand Venn diagrams. The sets can be very well illustrated by means of Venn diagrams. In Venn diagrams, universal set is represented by a rectangle and its different subsets are represented by circles within it. Here, U is the universal set and A and B are subset of U. C is another subset which contains elements apart from A and B. Now suppose we are given values of A, B and C like this. A has 3 elements, 1, 2 and 4. B has 4 elements, 2, 3, 4 and 6. And C has only 2 elements, 5 and 7. Now we look at the elements which are common in A and B. We can clearly observe that only 2 and 4 are common in A and B. So we write 2 and 4 in the region which is common to A and B. Next, we look at the elements which are available in only A and no other set. So 1 is the only element which belongs to only A. For only B, we have 3 and 6. Now, elements of C are present outside A and B. So, we write them in the region which belongs to the rectangle but none of the circles. Now, universal set should contain all the elements written within it. That is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 and 7. Now, let's look at some of the terminologies which will be often used in this topic. First one is union of any two sets. It is represented like this. It's the yellow region. It is basically set of all elements which are either in A or in B or in both. In this case, A union B will be 1, 2, 3, 4 and 6. It is same as the condition of OR as we studied in PNC. Second is intersection of A and B. It's the region which is common to A and B, that is belong to both A and B. In this case, 2 and 4 are common to A and B both, and they are equal to the intersection of A and B. Last term that we are going to discuss is complement of A union B. It is the set of elements which are there in the universal set but not in A and B. C in this case will be complement of A union B, that is elements 5 and 7, and the region is shaded in yellow. Now the most important part of this topic. If you understand this part really well, it will be immensely helpful when you will solve question based on maxima and minima in sets. Let's say we have a universal set and capital A and B are two different sets within it. We represent the inside values by small letters A, B, C and D. Now we try to look for the elements for these various regions one by one. Set A has A and C within it. So total value of set A will be A plus C. For B, it will be B plus C. Only A, that is elements that are part of only A and not any other set. In this case, there is only one such element, that is small a. Similarly, only B will have small b as the single element. A intersection B will be element C, while A union B will be set A plus set B minus A intersection B. We have to subtract A intersection B because it was counted twice while adding set A and set B, once with A and second time with B. So it will be equal to A plus B plus C. Last, we have universal set U. It will be A plus B plus C plus D. I hope it is crystal clear to you all. Next, we will look at Venn diagram involving three variables. This is the typical way to represent Venn diagrams involving three variables. Here we have three different sets, A, B and C. Elements in A will be A plus D plus F plus G. Now, whether these elements are contained only in A or in some other region as well was not our concern. Similarly, for B, we have B plus D plus E plus G. And that for C, we have C plus E plus F plus G. Now, if we look at elements which are present in only A, we have to take care that these elements should not be a part of any other region. Small a in this case is the single element in only A. Similarly, for only B, we have small b. And for only C, it will be small c. Now, we consider the region which belongs to both A and B but not C. We call it as only A and B, which is clearly D in this case. Then we have only B and C, which will be this region. Now, we consider the region which belongs to both A and B but not C. We call it as only A and B, which is clearly D in this case. Then we have only B and C, which will be this region, and the element will be E. For only C and A, it will be F. Now, we look for intersection of any two regions. Intersection of A and B will be region common to both A and B, that is D plus G. Similarly, B intersection C will be E plus G, and finally C intersection A will be F plus G. Now, we take the intersection of all the three sets A, B and C. This will be the common region or the central region which contains only element G. H is the element which belongs to none of the three sets but will be counted when we talk about universal set. Okay, so universal set will be A plus B plus C plus D plus E plus F plus G plus H. Now, another important region from question's point of view, union of three sets. I know that it's really easy to visualize the value of this union, but the important part to understand here is that we can connect union and intersection of three sets, which will be really helpful in solving deterministic type of questions. We will take deterministic and non-deterministic type in the next video. Okay, so it's pretty much the same as we saw for union of two sets. A union B union C will be equal to A plus B plus C. Now, we have to subtract the intersection which was counted twice in each case, same as we did for two sets. So, A plus B plus C minus A intersection B minus B intersection C minus C intersection A. Is it over? Not yet. If we observe closely, we'll get to notice that the common region to all the three sets was initially counted thrice when we added A, B and C. But it was again subtracted thrice when we subtracted intersection belonging to two sets. That means in this equation, we have not counted the intersection belonging to all the three sets. So, we add A intersection B intersection C. Now, we write this equation in terms of elements. It will be something like this. On simplifying, we get A plus B plus C plus D plus E plus F plus G as the final answer. Let's move to explore some more regions. Here, the language is very important. First one is number of elements in exactly one set. Exactly one means the region with only A, only B and only C. That is this region. So, clearly the value will be A plus B plus C. Next is number of elements in exactly two sets. Exactly two set means only A and B plus only B and C plus only C and A. It can be written as A intersection B plus B intersection C plus C intersection A minus the common region to all which is counted thrice, that is 3 times A intersection B intersection C. This can be written in terms of elements like this. On simplifying, we get D plus E plus F, which we can also verify from the figure. It will be really helpful if you remember the values of these regions in terms of intersection as well. Finally, we have number of elements in at least 2 regions. At least 2 means minimum 2, but it can be more than that as well. So in this case, at least 2 will mean exactly 2 plus the region which is common to all. In terms of intersection, it will be same as that of exactly 2. Only difference being the subtraction of A intersection B intersection C will be only twice this time, as 1G has to be included in it. So in terms of elements, it will be this equation. On simplifying, we get D plus E plus F plus G. Trust me, this exercise that we did is going to be really helpful in the coming videos. We end our discussion with 2 important laws. First is distributive law, which basically connects union and intersection of 3 sets. And second is De Morgan's law, which basically uses the property of or and connective. Proofs of these theorems are given in the description below the video. Do check it out. So, these were all the basics related to set theory. Make sure that you are really comfortable with the terminologies and the equations that we have discussed. Thank you for watching.